What's good, guys? It's Poku Banks, baby. Welcome back to my channel. Today, I'm with Debs, part of Stock Pickers Academy, an ex-Goldman Sachs trader. We can get into all of the gems, all of the tips and tricks that you need to learn on how to, get started with stocks, and his journey as well into getting to where he is today. So how are you, Debs? What's good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm happy to be on the show. It's good because I've always enjoyed speaking with people much older than myself and people much younger. So I've got two brothers, and I'm friends with both the year groups as well as my own. So yeah, I've always understood the power of networking up, networking down. Everyone has something to offer.
Yeah, most definitely. With the younger generation, have you seen like a sharp rise in the people getting into stocks? Would you say?
Do you know what I've seen? I've seen, irrespective of age, I've seen the average Joe, the average Jane getting involved in the stocks, in investing, in cryptos, wanting to get that knowledge up. I think technology has helped.
100%.
And social media has helped as well, because people are finding out things through these channels, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and they're finding things out they otherwise would only have found out if they've had like a relative or they worked in that environment. So this has created a whole massive wave of new investors of all ages. I didn't know what a stock was until I was at uni. I was looking for a career, right? Oh, wow. The next generation, they know what stocks are already. Right, because I see the CVs, because I work with different investment banks as well to help get more people through the gates. Now the CVs have actually changed. Before, everyone's hustling to get in with their grades and their uni they went to, whereas now you see a CV and they've got a side income, making $1,000 a month or a couple grand a month before they're actually starting to work. So the challenge is automate a lot of their stuff and then have a career in the city. And that creates a bit of confidence. And when you've got that, I have to get this job or my life is over. Once that gets removed from the equation, because you've got a side hustle, you enter the workplace with a bit more confidence and you're calmer and you're doing it because you want to do it rather because you feel you need to do it. And that just affects everything. It affects the contracts you negotiate. It affects your approach to the role. It affects whether you decide that, you know what, this ain't for me. I'm going to leave and I'm going to do my own thing, or I'm going to, whereas I think historically that hasn't been the case and people have just had to take whatever comes their way in the workplace. I know I talk about stocks, but people invest in stocks, right, because they want to build wealth. How can you build wealth if you don't have a stable income?
You have no money to invest.
So the starting point for building wealth is actually having a stable income that you can save from. So if you don't have your career patterned, how are you going to get to the point of even wanting to invest in stocks, wanting to invest at all, right? You can't invest without, remember, you save a portion of your income. Then you take a portion of your savings, right? And you invest that. If you don't have savings, you can't invest.
100.
I think if you are listening and you are investing your income, you're doing it wrong already. You invest a portion of your savings. And that's a primary principle. But your savings come from your income. Your income comes from your career, right? So if we don't have, and I talk about generational wealth, if you don't have what I call generational careers patterned from the beginning, right? Whether it's from your parents or your relatives and, just going along the right track, getting that career, then investing is futile because one leads to the other. It might be, okay, you've got a side hustle. That's fine as well. Again, it's going to be a portion of your excess cash that will go into investing. So people talk about generational wealth, but I've started talking about generational careers. And generational careers only start when people like myself, who've got 12 years industry experience, actually start giving back, mentoring, right? If I'm mentoring people and I'm helping them through the gates, I'm helping them the assessment centers with their mock interviews. And that's what it's funny, because I know we're talking stocks and stock pickers academy, but City Jobs coaching started first. It just didn't get a lot of traction because maybe I didn't have enough followers or the right public profile, right? But I do a lot of work helping mock interviews, getting people assessment center ready, right?
Yeah, what, to get into these banks and whatnot.
Yeah, and that was actually my bigger passion than stocks.
Okay, and then that's just
stocks just came about because, I mean, I felt people who were already working in finance or whatever didn't actually know what to do with their money on the side.
Yeah.
So the group was actually people I knew from my network and saying, listen, this is what I'm doing. I'll put my neck on the line. And I'll show you every transaction that I do in the stock market. So you guys are not just buying property every time and that's all you know. There's more things you can do. There are more things you can do. There's e-commerce, there's property, there's starting your own business. That's not necessarily e-commerce. And yeah, you focus on what you're good at and you try and monetize it.
100%. May I ask, so obviously, where did you start? So you go to uni.
Yeah.
May I ask, did you go to a great uni? Was it, in order to get to...
Yeah, I grew up in Peckham. I grew up on the North Peckham estate and it was notorious. You're hearing gunshots. I grew up next to the guys who actually killed Damilola Taylor. I don't know if you guys remember that story.
No, I know that story,
yeah. It was very dark at the time. And even way before that, there was a lot of crime on the estate, right? Yeah. There were like 6 different Peckham boy gangs in one small area.
That's crazy.
Right? It was notorious.
I've heard some mad stories about Peckham. Like it's mad that you even came up from there and turned into this. So how, you must be a lot different back then. So like, where was the shift? Like, how did you?
It was actually, to be honest, I remember when Damilola Taylor died, and then that was like, whoa, got to be careful who I hang around with, because you can easily get caught up in anything. Yeah. Right. So I had to kind of take my own path and find my own path. Fortunately, my mum was a teacher. That helps because that means that at least in the house, they take my education seriously and they make sure I do my homework and all this kind of stuff that at that age is very easy not to do. Yeah. And for me, I actually moved up a year group in school. Oh. And that happened because of bad behavior. I was smart, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're going to move you. The actual moving me to year 6 when I was in year 3 was because there's always that one teacher you don't mess with. And he just happened to be the year 6 teacher. So the rest of year 3 and all of year 4 and all of year 5 was spent in exactly the same class. So it's just the year 5s were moving up. Wow. So it was just a matter of time before I got to that that point of getting comfortable again. But it wasn't as bad as when I was like in year 3 throwing chairs around the class. Yeah, I was doing some funny stuff back then. But I always took my education seriously.
Yeah, that's good.
So I went through school yearly. Secondary school, by year, it was like, I don't need another year here, I get it. I do my SATs. We used to do this exam called the SATs back then. And then I went through to secondary school. And then I just, went from strength to strength. Then when I finished secondary school, I got into a 6th form private school on a scholarship.
Right. Oh, okay.
Yeah. So this was an eye-opener for me because I didn't actually want to go. My teacher just called them up behind my back way after application deadlines have passed. And then they spoke to my mom and said that they've created an interview for me in July, in the summer. So I just went. But it was one bus from Peckham, bus 63, City of London School. It's the one opposite of Tate Modern, right? Off the Millennium Bridge. So I thought, okay, one bus. I was thinking cost back then. I was like, okay, my parents can't pay for this. Yeah. But at the same time, it costs, it's one bus ride. I was getting EMA, they used to call it back then, which was this £30 a week or month for food and travel. So it was easy travel, one bus. I went down, I loved it. I did 6 A-levels.
Would you say the people you met there was a different type of
everyone there had like
compared
7 A stars, 8 A stars, 9 A stars.
So you really
I had like 4 A stars, 7 A's, which was even an underachievement because I didn't even get. There were 3, 4 A stars I should have got that I didn't get out of complacency, right? So I went in there like trying to make all that back, and I said I'm going to do 6 A levels, maths, further maths, physics, chemistry, economics, and additional further maths. And back then there was no A stars, but it would have been like 4 A stars, 2 A's. And it's funny because
A levels.
That's
right. And how much time do you have?
Well, the thing is, right, for the first time I experienced the power of like, we had 3 periods. And the teachers were very good. So it wasn't like my old school. Like the quality of the teaching was, I was learning lessons. And because I did my maths GCSE a year early, I was able to do my maths full A level in 1 year.
Okay, cool.
And then the further maths full A level the next year, and then an additional further maths. I did 2 maths A levels in 1 year, in the second year. And that, I think if you're good at one, it's very easy to pick up the next one.
Transferable.
And then physics and chemistry, I got 100% in my GCSE chemistry. So I was actually good at chemistry. That was my favorite subject. My second favorite subject was actually English literature, which I got 98% in school. So like, I was intelligent, right? I don't feel it as much now. I feel like everyone has a different stage at which they have that epiphany of being smart or learning or getting on top of the academia, right? Because funny enough, I went to uni and got a 2-2 in maths.
Oh, damn!
I played a little bit.
But
I did play a little bit.
Because was it into any side hustles in uni, or like what changed?
What changed at uni? Freedom. Maybe a bit more freedom, but also I felt like my learning style didn't suit uni. Uni was like,
you're given something, you go do it yourself.
It wasn't more the fact that my learning style didn't suit uni. It was very intense. My course was very intense. It was the most intense course at Warwick. They call it MORS, which is maths, operational research, statistics, and economics. And there's exams from first 2 weeks already exams, right? And the lecturers were you just have to copy. The whole lecture is spent copying. And they wouldn't give you lecture notes until the end of the term. So if you missed a lecture, you had to find someone to copy their notes. Whereas I would have preferred lecture notes to be released so I can do it in my own time. So they're not released online. You're literally learning off your own handwriting. Right. And then if you don't understand something, that's like, whoa, that's another 3 hours you're going to need to relearn it with the textbook. So that kind of didn't work. I wasn't used to that. And then you go to the library and there's only 3 textbooks. So you have to buy it. And there was no money. So it was just like a combination of things. And I mean, my first year was still okay. Like I got a first. Second year, a few things. I had to go to Nigeria for a funeral and stuff. And I just tried to be the superhero. When I got back to third year and I realized, whoa, to get a first, I literally need to do extra modules and then smash them. But at the same time, my career. So I decided to prioritize my career. I'm playing football and a few shubs here and there. But prioritizing my career was a big decision for me. I said, you know what? This uni thing looked like it's going a bit south. Let me prioritize.
Now, at this point, were you thinking of getting into stocks at all?
Yeah. I knew from I started uni when I was 17, right?
Oh, damn.
Yeah, so during the summer of sixth form to first year, I did this work experience at HSBC in Canary Wharf. And I worked in middle office for interest rates and swaps and all this, some derivatives. And that was the first time I got to see a trading floor. And I was like, I want to be there. So all my energy at uni went towards being a trader. I wanted to be a trader. There was no compromise. Every application was just trading. Like I was obsessed with it. If you want to be good at something, you got to be obsessed.
100%.
And football and trading, those were the 2 things I was absolutely unhealthily obsessed with. Uni, I started winning all the trading games, and any trading game I was winning. Right. And that's when I was like, but then you get into the banking, realize trading in a bank isn't like they give you a pile of cash and say make money. Right. That's more what you're doing outside the bank. Trading in the bank is this hedge fund wants to do a trade, price it, what level you're going to buy at. this other one wants to sell. What level you're going to sell at? And then you have to be the buyer to every seller. So imagine you're buying highs, not lows. You're buying highs because the client wants to sell at the high.
Oh, so
and you're selling lows because the client wants to buy low, and you have to provide that market to him.
Yeah.
So all day long, you're spent in bad positions, and then you have to use the markets to make them go back into profit.
Oh, wow. So it's very, very different from, you know, being a trader outside.
You're William Hill, you're Ladbrokes, you're the shop, you're Hargreaves Lansdown, you're trading 212 to the hedge funds.
Okay.
So throughout my career, when I started at Goldman Sachs, I was the youngest ever trader they've ever hired in the London office.
Oh, wow.
In history. Right? Wow. And I was given $10 billion to manage.
Wow.
Right? But that doesn't mean you're given $10 billion and you're told to make money. What it is the size of the book. It's like someone giving you a $10 billion property portfolio. Right? Then you have to manage it. Right? So what I was doing was I was able to turn the book from a loss-making book into a revenue-generating book by doing some profit-generating trades. Right? Mainly interest rates. And it's funny. You're market-making stocks, but you're making money on interest rates. Why?
Why is that?
Because to the other side of the stocks business is your funding. And this starts getting a bit techie, but really, you're like a treasury as well as a shop. So Hargreaves Lansdown will have a treasury as well. Trading 212, eToro, they will all have a side of the business where they face an investment bank.
Yeah.
Right? And then that investment bank, to do that business, will have to buy stock. Yeah. IG Index does Bitcoin.
Yeah.
Right? You can do it on CFD. Yeah. But for them to do that, they actually have to buy real Bitcoin. So when someone buys CFD, they just pass on the performance. It's the same in stocks. So the reason, and I tell everyone this, the reason trading 212 has restricted your ability to buy certain stocks is because the banks have reached their limit. Yeah. So they gave a limit to interactive brokers, and interactive brokers then gives a limit to trading 212. Yeah. And that limit is reached because ultimately banks need to hold capital, cash, reserve. Against different instruments to abide by regulatory rules, right? Like Basel III, right? If you don't know what that is, you can Google it, right? I'm one of those people that, yes, I like to break things down, but also I like to give you the hot fire as well. You can go away, write it down, go and Google it, right? But regulators have come in and said, listen, to do your business, you need to make sure you are holding a certain amount of cash in case those stocks go bust. So that's their way of managing risk, right? When I'm teaching my clients how to buy stocks and build portfolios in their stocks and shares ISAs, I use a similar concept, but they might not see that bit. I've simplified all of that and said, listen, because property spans generations. So does stocks, but you have to remember from the property spans thousands and thousands of years, right? Yeah. Just like cattle and all this kind of livestock. Yeah. So does business. Right? Yeah. Businesses have existed from ages. Millenniums. However, the stock market is, from a human history point of view, it's a new thing. Started in America. Yeah. So what you find is maybe the Black community in America, they've been doing this for the longest. Yeah. Right? Whereas in the UK, again, property and business, that's what we know. People are prepared to pay 5K, 10K a year mentoring for properties, business. But you talk about stocks and it's like a
forum.
Yeah, and it doesn't have a good name in the UK because a lot of people's first experience with this stuff was they lost money. Of course you're going to lose money because you don't know what you're doing.
Exactly.
And the people who had the knowledge to teach you what to do didn't exist from people from our community. I'll tell you now, if I'm not doing what I'm doing, the people who have similar knowledge, married with kids, 50 years or 45, they don't want to be on Telegram groups or Discord or WhatsApp or Instagram creating content. So the knowledge is getting lost, or should I say, it's being kept within a circle. Yeah. So what I'm doing is I'm disrupting because there's a lot of YouTubers who they're passionate about stocks and stuff, but they haven't spent a day on the trading floor.
That's the thing.
How can you know? Like, my edge comes from, I've worked on the investment banking side, but I've also worked on the hedge fund side. So I've seen both sides of the coin. If you're a YouTuber, you've read books about how to pick a stock and stuff like that, but you haven't actually, most of them haven't actually
been on a trade
worked the role.
Yeah.
Because picking a good stock is 25% of making money. I'll tell you that now. Picking a good stock is 25% of making money. If you pick a good company like Apple and you buy a really, really high price, you can make a loss. And someone who bought a really nonsense stock can actually make more money than you in the same year. And you're wondering how. Price is important, right? So market making, you learn how to manage your risk, not going in all in one go, and how to find the right price comes with experience of looking at the tape. The tape meaning the prices, just looking at prices, right? So this is where I've got my edge. I've done my 10,000 hours multiplied by another 10, right? Looking at price. And once you understand price action, you can do cryptos, you can do Forex, you can do stocks. Right? You're probably thinking, why did I choose stocks?
Why did you?
When I day trade, I day trade everything. At some point, maybe I'll start teaching everything, but I feel like stocks is you're buying a part of a business, a bit like you're buying a property. Right? That's something that the average human who isn't a city person can relate to. You're investing in your friend's business, or you're investing in a stranger's business that you know is doing really well, but was going through a rough time, but should be able to turn around. That's what stocks is, right? It's not just some random thing you buy when the price is low and then you sell it when it goes up, and you just look. A lot of people look at things that way. So what I actually teach on my course is the government has said everyone can save up to a maximum of £20,000 each year in a stocks and shares ISA. A lot of people also have a pension from previous workplaces that they don't know what to do with. I only learned in 2013, right? Bear in mind, I was already working in City. I was a trader for 5 years by that point.
Oh, wow.
I only realized then that you could actually pick and choose what goes into your pension, because Goldman called me up and said, you know, your pension that you have with us, if you don't move it, you lose it. I'm like, how do I move it? They say, you need to find a private pension. So I'm out here Googling private pensions, and I come across something called a SIP, SIPP. Self-invested pension plan. So this is where you can actually create your own pension privately and choose which stocks go inside. So I was like, do you mean to tell me I can pick what stocks go into my pension? I can trade my pension? Let's go.
Let's go.
This is how it all started. And then, I got into a stock, Tullow Oil, and eventually ended up using all my whole pension on one stock. I was like, this is going to pay my children's school fees. And it actually didn't do well at all. My first investment in my first stock that I bought didn't do well at all. It was a humbling experience, but I've got good risk management. So I didn't spend all my budget. It was like 8 months later, I'm buying a bit more because the price had dropped. I remember I bought it at a low. I bought a very cheap price. I was chuffed. And then the price dropped even more. I was like, because it got kicked out of the FTSE 100 index. But it's like, it's oil, it's UK exposure, it's Africa exposure, tick, 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 tick. 3 birds, 1 stone. It continued dropping. So I found, whoa, it's been 3 years now. And I'm buying another. So I was just building up a position, right? Every time there was a significant drop. And I knew that I can do this because this is what I used to do when I was market making rates. And with stocks, and which is why I like stocks more, you're only out of the game if the company goes bankrupt. You're only out of the game if the company goes bankrupt. So I decided to just leave it. Then they had a rights issue, which I also teach. Some people don't actually understand what a rights issue is. The company's saying, you know what, you can buy more shares 50% cheaper, right? If you already own shares. It's their way of raising capital. That's what they get out of it. But you get to get shares at a much cheaper price than the current market price. So that boosts your profit instantly. There was one recently with Rolls-Royce, and I had to talk people through a rights issue for the first time. But it was good to see a lot of beginners experiencing it. So I was able to eventually secure like 80% profit on my entire position. And then from there, I was like, okay, cool, learned my lesson. Now let's go again. And
how long did that take to get to 8% profit? Because it seems like
4 years. I was in 3.5 years. I was in this position for 3.5 years. And it's funny because we had a group chat with like everyone who's black that works in financial markets, just so we can at least connect. And they followed the journey for 3.5 years.
Wow.
Yeah. Wow. And then eventually they're like, Debs, you need to tell other people because you were very bullish this stock for a while. And then that's where Stock Pickers Academy WhatsApp started.
Okay.
So all this stuff was happening behind the scenes. I'm not really an Instagram person. I got my personal Instagram and I just post a lot of funny stuff on there, right? It's not all patterned up and like all of this kind of stuff. I just like to be natural and raw and real. So the WhatsApp group, after about 2-3 years, turned from this is what I'm buying, 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 to what platform should I trade on? These are the questions coming through. And I was like, listen, I don't want to teach. I'm not here to teach. I don't have the time to teach. I just want to let you know what I'm doing and everyone share what you're doing. Yeah. Yeah, I said it with a lot of vim, but I had to eat my words because now I'm behind a Zoom screen now teaching stocks. So eventually I was like, okay, you know what? The WhatsApp group is full. The waiting list is like 300-400. I can't manage who came first and all of this kind of stuff. And no one's paying me. So you know what? I'm going to create a website. I'm going to create an Instagram page. So, and then I want to put information out there. Yeah. So when I've got spare time, I put it up, and then all you need to do is follow the page and read. That's when Stock Pickers Academy Instagram started last year, January. Yeah. So to be honest, I thought 200 people in the WhatsApp group, and I know only maybe 60 of them have Insta. Some of them are old school. Yeah. So I was expecting maybe 100 followers, and then my friends on my own Insta maybe will combine maybe 200. So in the first month, there's like 1,000. I'm like, whoa. Okay. I didn't think my community was really on this thing like that. Okay, this is great. So maybe I should keep producing content and educating people so at least they learn something. And then a month later, someone told me about Telegram. And I said, okay, cool. I can put all the people on the waiting list in the Telegram. So the Telegram started with about 200-300 people. And a month later, the stock market crashed.
Wait, what is this?
Oh, shit.
Oh, March,
yeah. So February created the Telegram group. Yeah. Stock market crashed.
How was that for you? Like in general, like even and for SPA as well?
Do you know what? I was freestyling. Like I'd never really sat down and thought, oh, what's good? Because it wasn't a business. Stock Pickers only became a business in May, right? So Telegram group started, market crashed, and you have to remember, people have been watching my investing style all this time, and they were appreciating it, but I don't think they were following it. So when the crash happened now, I was getting knocks on the door. Oh, Debs, there's this thing called Zoom, and everyone's in lockdown, right? Can you look through my portfolio? Yeah. I was like, yeah, I can, all right. So first guy bought his portfolio, stew everywhere, blood everywhere. It was all red.
Stew, that's a new one.
Yeah, yeah. Stew. So I was like, okay, went through. Then a lady bought hers. Positive. I'll tell you the difference between men and women. Women will make money. 30% overall portfolio up. Then they'll come and say they didn't kind of know what they were doing fully. They just, they made money, but they rather have more of a strategy. Man, them, we bring our portfolio and we only come and knock on the door when we've been burnt.
Yeah, that's
right. So this is a trend that I see. And women are good at. I show you how to do something. They'll 90% will follow it. Men, they see what's the little most I can get out of this little free group without having to pay.
Yeah.
But if you don't pay for your development, you're not going to take it seriously. I'll tell you, I did a property course, 2019. Charged me £500 for 2 weeks. Usually I'm like, that's a scam, it's a scam, it's a scam. Who knows, right? It was 2 days. That's like 250 quid a day, right? Yeah. So I just said, let me just do one of these things, right? I did a property course, learned all the different property strategies. Yeah. Within 4 months, I'd made 8 times the cost of the course back from a property deal that I did.
Oh, wow. Right?
So, yeah, not many people know this, but I also dabble in property. I do matchmaking, right? Okay. And I've got a massive, not massive, maybe 20 investors,
Okay.
right? That if I bring a deal to them, they buy in.
But
But it's just time consuming. So I need to go and find the deals. So I've only done a few deals at the moment, and all my energy is on stock pickers at the moment and city jobs coaching. And also urban founders. So urban founders is like low touch. People email their business plan and their PDF, and I just put it on a WhatsApp group with 20 angel investors. If someone likes it, I just connect them. It's very low touch for me.
Just take a percentage.
Yeah, the page I just blog about a business from someone I know. It has to be someone I know, right? Because you know the way angel investors, how do you know this person? Is this person a good person? That's how they invest.
Yeah,
right? By who you know rather than just how good your business is.
Yeah.
So I spend a lot of time networking, trying to get to know people and stuff. So even if I don't know you too well, I know you enough to at least put you in front of an angel and be like, yeah, I know this person. They've been working really hard. I've watched the growth of their page, and I pay attention. I pay attention to all the businesses, how they're growing and stuff like that. But that works, right? Every now and then I make a connection. The city jobs coaching, that's for people who have already been working in finance or the city and they want to move around, because I've got a very strong network. So I had someone recently move from law into compliance in JP Morgan. And I had someone recently go from, and then I have the graduates as well, where I just get them, like I said at the beginning, I just get them ready for assessments and I do their mock interviews. Like, yeah, there are quite a lot of people I've mentored to VP level on the trading floor and stuff like this. And that will continue. But the priority obviously now is, making sure that people who've got spare cash, I didn't think there'll be demand, right? Now my pricing is set such that someone who just has 2K, right, can learn how they can invest in the stock market. Because if I price what I should be pricing, then my price is more than your entire stocks and shares ISA. So it's like most of the time, if your budget's less than 5K, you get forgotten because the cost of the courses that are out there far supersedes it doesn't make sense, right? So that was the short-term challenge, because like for the many was my investing for everyone, for the many. Let me focus on the people who kind of felt the stock market wasn't for them, rather than focusing on my target market. My target market will naturally find me, right? But what I do is I go for the people who think it's not for them, who maybe have learning difficulty, who maybe can't even, maths ain't their thing, spreadsheets isn't their thing. Because if I can capture that target market, then I really make a difference on the community. Because the target market, the people who already know a bit about finance and stocks, there's such a small portion of our community that can't be who I target. They will find me naturally. I have to kind of persuade and find a digestible way to invest and make it accessible to everyone. And that's what I spent a lot of time doing, to what I call now the stock pickers investment process. It's very bite-sized, but very effective. And more importantly, I've seen results. 85% of people who start my course have made back the cost of the course before they even finish the course.
Oh, wow. Really?
Right? Whether that is a sustainable statistic, we'll have to wait and see, because you get bigger and bigger and bigger. Right? Not everyone has, like, I don't do the one-to-one course anymore. So of course, if you're having me one-to-one time for 5 hours, you're going to you'll have a little edge over someone who does an online course or someone who does the group course. Right. So we'll have to wait and see how that trend emerges. But what I am confident about is I've got a blueprint that works.
100%.
Right. And then the next thing is networking. So I do a lot of networking. I mean, that's how I met you. That's how I met, some of the other people in my space. And I think it's very important not to see people as competition. Because
there's so much money in the world.
Like someone can come and do sessions with me, go do sessions with someone else, and everyone can eat. But more importantly, everyone can learn, get results. And I tell my clients anyway, diversify your learning resources. Whether you're watching YouTubes just to get your ideas, and then you're coming to SPA to get a strategy and some mentoring, and then, just jumping in different Discord groups or whatever to see what everyone else is doing. Like, you need all of that.
No, I definitely agree. Like, but do you ever believe in like focus though? So would you ever say sometimes the concepts you teach, it may conflict with others? Like, what do you think about that?
Yeah, I think so. there's some people who like to day trade stocks. There's some people who just want to long-term invest, right? I do it all. The other day I did intraday trade in GameStop. The other day I did a long-term investment type play in GameStop, but you know, stock is volatile, went up, I got out. I think it's important for people to understand the different styles that are out there.
Yeah, I feel like when people think of stock, firstly, trading and investing are two different things, yet people feel like it's the same thing. So what would you say is the best, which style is the best for someone to start off with, do you think?
I think long-term, I don't teach day trading at all.
Yeah, because it's too, I get why. I fully get why.
I feel like if I'm talking about investing is for everyone, then I have to teach people the one that's the least risk, but still can potentially get them a healthy return over time. So my strategy targets a 20% return on your entire portfolio every year. And that's the wealth building number. If you can make 20% on £5,000, every year for 25 years, which is an amount of time most people get a mortgage, 25 to 30 years. That 5K is $500,000, 476,000.
Oh, wow.
Right? 5K, 6K, 7.2, 8.6, 10.3.
Yeah,
that's doubling. You're doubling your money every 4 years.
Yeah.
18%, you double your money every 4 years. Wow. So if you keep going, so the key thing is, does your strategy do 20% every year? That is the thing that you need to focus, that I focus on. Making sure that the proof is in the pudding and the strategy is delivering the results. Right? Because there's no point people paying for sessions and then having bad experiences. That's not really what I'm on. Otherwise, there's no point. Right? 100%. So I think being real with people, being honest with people, I'll tell you now, a lot of my clients, they've done 80%, 70% in less than 6 months. Wow. 200%, I've got one client in 8 months. Wow. So me saying 20% is what the target, that's under promise. But also I know the power of 20% over a long period of time. If you do any more, great, bonus. You're 25 years, you'll hit that number quicker. 15 years, maybe, right? But I think it's very important for people to try things. Like I've got a virtual portfolio that I've created where people can use my strategy without using real money, right? So when I start Stock Pickers teams, right, we'll probably collaborate to do that properly, right? That's going to be virtual. In fact, I'm going to be like, I don't want you touching real money at all. That's like true. as a condition. But then you're going to learn the process. You're going to learn the process. You're going to practice the process for a year, for 2 years. You're going to build up your track record. Yeah. The money and all that stuff can come later. But the key thing is to learn the skill set.
Learn how to fish. Exactly that.
So that's going to be very interesting. I don't know when, maybe towards the end of the year, next year, maybe H2, who knows? But I'm freeing up a bit of time on my calendar now so I can start planning. There's going to be Stock Pickers for elders. Yeah. Some people started, getting their mums, their grandmas. You'd be shocked. I'm like out here teaching people's mums and grandmas how to invest in stocks, right?
Yeah. Are you interested in ETFs or index funds? Or
so on my watch list, right? I've got a watch list of 1,000 stocks. It's got ETFs. It's got stocks. It's even got your 3 major cryptos, Bitcoin, because you need this information, and it's got the pound-dollar exchange rate live on it as well. So my watch list is real time, right? So for everyone's development, it's important you understand the different assets. On my course, I actually teach about bonds as well and why we go for stocks over bonds. And, do you want to lend?
Time to go into bonds?
Yeah, do you want to lend a company? Do you want to lend Tesla money at a very low guaranteed rate of interest, or do you actually want to own a stake? What's the different risks? What are the different rewards? Right? And this is why we choose stocks, because our mandate is different to a pension fund. A pension fund wants to pay people's pensions, so all they care about is the guarantee. Our mandate is to grow wealth. So we care more about trying to get a return. And if stocks will give us a better probability and chance of getting a return, then we'll do that, right? I'll tell you, one thing I do, right, is I let people see my L's. People get to see my winners and my losers. You see in the group, I always post on entry. And I've been doing that for 5 years.
Wow.
So people get to see the journey. I came out of a cannabis stock after 2.5 years recently. This stock was down 3.5 grand in December. And I posted it on my Instagram so people can see what my losses are, right? Last year, I did 129% of my return of my portfolio. And that included 2 stocks that went bankrupt. So you lose all your capital, and stocks like Vivo Cannabis that were at the time down 3.5 grand. So people actually see what a portfolio looks like. Even though it made 129%, it wasn't because I'm just picking winners. So people also were getting to see my process when I buy more, why I bought more, which kind of stocks I avoid, which types of stocks I go for, when I come out, when I take profit, and why. But it's not there for people to copy. I make it very clear to people what's good for my portfolio might not be good for yours. I might have made healthy gains, and then I'm taking a bit of my profit and putting it into something risky. You shouldn't look at that and go and copy it, because you might be on your first trade, your first ever investment, but you might need to find something a bit safer. So this is where the coaching comes into it. But what I found is that transparency, that accountability is like, sometimes I'm about to buy something, I'm like, is this something I can share with people, with a beginner? No, okay, cool, I'm not going to do it. So I make sure it's improved my results myself, my consistency. I tell people transparency is liberating. When if anyone matches my energy, you'll see an improvement in your results, because it means you don't go and buy rubbish.
100%.
Right? And I've started building that culture. But the culture I like the most is a cash app culture. So if someone sends you a news article or tells you, oh, you know what, I'm a dentist, and a lot of people are doing their teeth during lockdown, that's a catalyst, right? You go and buy the Invisalign stock, which is called a Line Tech. I mean, when this actually happened with a client, the stock has doubled since the time the client told me this useful information. So beginners are one of the most important aspects of stock pickers, because you're a beginner in stocks, but you're not a beginner in what you're good at in your day job.
Yeah, exactly.
So you bring the info, the trends you're seeing. I put my expertise onto your trends. I'll find the stock and I'll set the prices, your target entries, your target exits. And by doing this, I'm saying this is a safe, if you're a pensioner and you're really, not a pensioner, if you're like a risk averse person that's managing your savings, you shouldn't be buying this stock unless it's at least down there. Otherwise, leave it alone. And if you bought this stock, you shouldn't be going above this price. So you shouldn't be trying to make more money than this price. Otherwise, that's greed.
Yeah.
Ambition. For some people's greed, for some people's ambition. There's nothing wrong with being ambitious. There's something wrong with not knowing that point beyond which you are trying to think. So all I'm doing is identifying those kind of zones. What would Debs do? Right? And I tell people, my job is it's not investment advice. I'm not telling you what to buy. I'm just letting you know some safety zones. So you're not in the group seeing someone post about something and going to buy. I'm your filter to other people's ideas. So that makes your decision a bit more informed. And then obviously if you do my course, I'm showing you how to properly construct a portfolio based on the different alerts that I cut. Like if you just buy alerts, listen, if alerts were that good, we'll all be millionaires. Alerts are just guides, right? So how to choose between alerts, which alerts to ignore, which alerts to go for. This is a skill in its own right, right? And how to construct a portfolio based on alerts. That's what you're learning. So my blueprint really is, let me give you a 5-hour quick course on investing that can enable you to make money now whilst you continue to develop. And this for me is like, has been a very big eye opener, because even I didn't think I'll be seeing the results from absolute beginners that I'm seeing now. Some of them buy stocks I didn't even go for. And then they're here showing me they're 80% up on Gap. But they bought my alert. We all use the same process, but we all buy different stocks. Sometimes we buy the same stocks. Like when there's a no-brainer opportunity, like when Boohoo dropped from 400 to 200, everyone jumped in. And everyone made 50% within 2 days, and most of us jumped out. Your bank account could never. Your cash ISA could never.
No.
So you take it. So in a nutshell, my process is find a company. You're buying a good company at a cheap price, at a discount, and you're then getting out at a reasonable time. But I don't focus on time. We go in with a long-term mentality always, long-term prices always. And let's just say you're willing to make 50% over 3 years or 2 years.
Yeah.
But then your stock is up 75% after like 2 weeks. You take your profit.
100%.
Right? So even though you've gone in with a long-term mindset, people ask me, oh, what's your time frame for this trade? I don't do time frames. All I make sure is that I'm planting the seed well. It's up to the market to decide whether I'm going to get that in the expected 3 years or quicker. So as long as you make sure you plant your seeds well, the market will maybe 20% of your portfolio might come out a month. The other 30% might come out after a year. The other 40, 50%, 60% might come out after 2 years, right? Generally, you expect most of your portfolio to come out medium long term, but the market does allow Christmas to come early. And if Christmas does come early, you eat the turkey, right? Or it gets cold.
100%. No,
so, like, it's good that we're having this discussion. It is good that we are speaking on this stuff, because look, how like years ago, me and you were not having this discussion.
Oh, it was
right? Because it's good that someone of your age range is doing what you're doing with your following, and I'm out here, and there are others. I'm going to get you to collaborate with them and interview them. I'll give you a list, right? Because my thing is, right, a lot of them are in the WhatsApp group. It's important that everyone knows each other.
100%.
Right? Because then multiple collaborations are happening, right? And it's a cartel mindset, right? Then the people can be fed from all of us, because everyone has something to offer, right? I don't know it all. You don't know it all. No one really knows it all. But what we can do is pass on what we do know, right? And make sure they're relatable characters. Some people might generally prefer or relate more to a woman, right? So there are women doing all these finance stuff as well.
Yeah.
Some people might generally just like my style with the simple hat and the simple black top, right? The younger generation might prefer to hear from you than me. So if they prefer your style, your delivery, your content, it's easy. And get a Finimize.
Finimize.
Finimize is amazing. I use Finimize, right? Everyone in Stock Pickers gets 34% off. If you want that, hit the link in my bio. It's there. It's £40 for a year. Listen, don't play yourself, because these guys should be charging £10 a month with the content they put out, and it's very, very bite-sized. So definitely get a Finimize. Finimize. You'll see the link in my bio. At Stock Pickers Academy on Instagram. Follow my YouTube as well, because content is coming.
Oh, yeah?
I find that stuff a little bit, but yeah, content is coming soon. Stock Pickers Academy on YouTube. You can see that in the link in my bio as well. You can follow me on Instagram as well, my personal man like Debs. But you might get bored. But yeah, Stock Pickers Academy, definitely follow that one, because I'll be putting content out there. If you've got a side hustle, Urban Founders, we give out $250, sponsored by Stock Pickers Academy, every 3 months to businesses to do ad credit. And if you're interested in a career in finance, follow at City Jobs Coaching.
There you go.
All of these will be on my personal profile at Man Like Debs if you forget. But City Jobs Coaching, I will be doing. If you've got a summer internship already, I'll be doing some preparation workshops soon. If you're struggling with your applications and you feel like you need someone to push you in your mock interviews to understand the market's commercial awareness and the kind of questions you can get, I do have a network as well. If you've already got a summer internship and you want to connect with people in the bank you're about to start with, hit me up as well. If I don't reply to your DM, just reply it again, because I'm not getting good at this stuff. And yeah, that's pretty much it. And sign up to my mailing list. Also, everything's in the link to my bio. At Stock Pickers Academy on Instagram. Everything's on the link in my bio. And if you're a stock picker and you're watching this, follow Poku Banks, subscribe. We need that subscribe button.
Yeah.
And when we post, you need to double tap, hit that like, and put more than 3 words in your comments for engagement. So Instagram can't hide us. Very important.
Yeah, man. Guys, hope you enjoyed that. It's man like Debs on here.
Come on.
Like you said, check them out, man. It's free content. Like at the end of the day, like, come on. Man.
Yeah.
He's giving you all these gems. He's worked at all these banks. Like, just trust it, okay? But guys, you already know, it's Poku Banks, baby.
Come on.